Goodness, I missed that entire intro. Having internet trouble first thing in the morning. We never have internet trouble here, and go figure. The one day we're content creators, internet goes out. But anyway, good morning, everybody. Kevin, Cree, and I are super excited to be your content creators this morning. So my name's Kevin here with Cree Petty. We are direct to Christina and Andrew Watts in the Kelly Bush, Jim Larson, Jamie Susie, Corey Nienaber, Sarah and Jared Reinecke in the Jacob Pogue, Marshall Wayland hierarchy. Okay, got through that. We can get through anything now. Today we're going to talk about the top four lessons that we learned on our way to ownership.
I love it. Guys, can we just take a second and rate Kevin in the chat for the hierarchy? That was the first time that he has said that full hierarchy on a call, and honestly, I think it deserves a 10. Let's check out. We got some good ratings. We got 10 out of 10. Ooh, we got a 7. Kev, we'll work on that next time. Guys, in all seriousness, my name is Cree Petty, and I'm so excited and honored to be on this call with you all today. If we lose Wi-Fi, we'll come right back. We're on hotspots right now, but kind of to give you a picture of where we're coming from and what our journey looked like before being here. I have a corporate sales background, so I used to sell medical technology and then I sold payroll, which is just about as fun as it sounds. And towards the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020, my dad got very, very sick. He had cancer, but in addition to the cancer, he had a lot of different health issues that were kind of coming to fruition all at once. And I was responsible for a large territory across all of Georgia. And I needed to be in the field driving around Georgia selling payroll, but that was not aligning with the feeling that I had in my heart that I needed to be in Tennessee with my family when it mattered. And so I ended up leaving my job and I scaled up a freelance marketing business that I had. And I was really, really thankful that I did that because 2 months later, at the very beginning of COVID in March 2020, my dad passed away very, very unexpectedly, and I was able to be there and provide support to my mother during that time. But to make an unbearable situation so much worse, he did not have life insurance. And I don't think any of us kind of realized until that moment what the value in life insurance really is. My dad was the primary income earner, and my mom was now in a position where she's looking around like, I've got to pay the mortgage, I've got to pay the bills. And so we were the family that was sitting in the funeral. Thinking about who's going to make the next mortgage payment. And then we were also the family that showed up to the funeral home really thinking like which one of my siblings and I are going to pay for this. And so it's a situation that I wouldn't wish upon anyone. But what I learned from that is the value in what we do and what we can really help families with. And so fast forward a couple of years, I knew Christina Watts from a direct sales business. And if you know Christina, you know you love her. She's successful. Her energy changes the room whenever she's in it. And I was immediately attracted to what she said she was doing. She had told me in 2022 that she had started an insurance agency. And I was like, wow, life insurance, I could get behind that. And so I enrolled in pre-licensing, came to Symmetry in January of 2023, and it has honestly been a heart mission ever since.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. So I was the VP of a family-owned car detailing company for about 15 years, about 12 to 15 locations all over Atlanta. Honestly, I considered myself like the fire chief because I was just my job was essentially just put out that day's fires. I knew that that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I had seen Cree be successful in life insurance and decided, hey, let's enroll into pre-licensing and let's give this a go. Full transparency, I bought the course 4 different times just because I kept dragging my feet. I do not recommend just wasting money on pre-licensing 4 times. That's like 200 bucks that I wish I had. But I'll say after about 2 months, A new owner had taken over the company, and I had agreed to sign a 2-year contract to stay on and help grow the business. Well, I'd say probably like that lasted maybe 4 months before Cree and I had kind of come up with like an exit strategy essentially, and needed to have that talk with my boss, and was like, hey, it's just not really working out. I'm looking to do something different. I've been dabbling a little bit in the life insurance and want to give this a go full time and run this business with Cree. And surprisingly, he took it pretty well. All he asked was, "Hey, can you help train somebody and give me 60 days?" I said, "I mean, I can train somebody for 60 days on 15 years worth of relationships, systems, payroll, you name it. But sure, yeah, let's do it." So my timeline was I got licensed in February of 24 and then transitioned full time in August of 24.
Okay, so we wanted to kind of start this off. We want to spend this call sharing what the last year has looked like. We've been here a little bit over a year, but the last year is like really where the juice is. So in June of 2024, we hit month one of agency ownership, and we didn't hit the following month. Can you throw an emoji or a comment or something in the chat if you've ever missed a goal? We'd love to like see kind of who can relate to this. All right. I love it. Okay, Kevin, so we're in really good company. I love that. I also love the baby bottle in the chat. That's funny. Um, Guys, we are going to spend the next couple of minutes here kind of sharing with you what the journey has looked like over the last year from missing agency ownership and not completing that run to being announced yesterday as new AOs.
So, first point would be sacrifice. So, the definition of sacrifice is the act of giving up something you value for the sake of something more important or worthwhile. Goodness, that picture brings back memories. I knew that when I had transitioned full time, that I was going to need an influx in cash. So I did what any normal person would do. I sold my truck. I wanted to prove to Cree and myself that I was serious about doing this, and there was no backup plan. I wasn't going back to the car world. So sacrificed the truck to get myself through the learning curve. Um, we sacrificed a lot, honestly, a lot of time with friends, countless trips, financial sacrifices, but we knew that this was just a season and one that wouldn't last forever as long as we just didn't quit. We knew saying no in the present was going to be crucial for us never having to say no in the future.
Yeah, so that picture is so funny. If I look at it for too long, I'm like, whoa, life was very, very different then. It sparked some emotions for sure. The second lesson that we've learned along the way is honestly the value of good mentorship and being a good mentee. We have the most incredible mentors in our hierarchy and in this company. I could go on and on about all of them, but I will say, like, just briefly, Christina Watts has given me the tools to trust myself and allow me to lead, and has also helped me build my confidence, which has got to be one of the greatest gifts that you can give another person, and something that I hope that Kevin and I will always do for the agents within our agency. But outside of the amazing mentorship, you've got to show up and ready to be a good mentee. We learned that saying what we wanted wasn't actually enough. We needed to be the type of people that actually did the things we needed to do in order to change. And so we have really, really focused on that a lot. We've also focused on not mentoring each other. When Kevin started, I had been in the business for a year longer than him and had just hit top producer. So I was thinking, like, wow, I'm gonna help him get through the learning curve really easily. We're never gonna fight. We're gonna be rich, and we're gonna help a lot of people. We're gonna change their lives. And it didn't really work like that. It's been a blessing, but the blessing has looked very, very different than that. But what we found is seeking mentorship outside of each other was the best way to grow. And then to take that just another step further, the way that we mentor our agents, and something honestly that we've learned from Christina and Andrew and so many of the people that come before us, is like focusing on what our people want and helping them get it. So, whatever goal that is for them, keeping it in the forefront of everything that we focus on.
Yep. And then so that's going to lead us into number three, which is grow yourself. So I'll say, coming from the car world, self-development was not at the top of the priority list. I knew that I had to do a lot of work and to put my ego aside. Honestly, ego could probably be its own category, but we're going to kind of lump that into here. Um, I came in early. I had a pretty hot start. I think my second week here, I had a 10K week off leads, and I was like, man, this is going to be pretty simple. But I'm man enough to admit that I was wrong and something was going to have to change. I knew I had to leave my ego at the door and focus on how to grow and change for how I wanted things to look. This business requires you to change. So growing, and I had to reach up and ask for help. So Cree and I, we changed our routine daily. It looks totally different than it did a year ago. We're working out every day, we're reading, we're consuming stuff that's good for you. Because, I mean, you can doom scroll all day long, and that's not going to help anybody. So we really focused on what we're putting into our brains every day, and just really cognizant. So we could really focus on becoming the people who actually achieve their goals. So that was important.
And then the next lesson that we've learned really over the last year is the value of association. We talk about this all the time. This is a word that's thrown around a lot, but we have really embraced this over the last year. I was very fortunate. One of my best friends and an agency owner here, Amber Pearson, to know her is to love her, earned the SBLI trip, and she allowed me to go as her plus one. Guys, this was an incredible trip, for us to go to Europe together. It was my first time being in Europe, but also getting to spend time with people who were so much further along in the business. Just was an incredible experience. Kevin and I also got to go. We earned the LGA trip in March in Puerto Rico, which was so cool because we had exposure to all of these different things, and it was an amazing opportunity to really vision cast what we wanted our life to look like. Now, trips are incredible, and we would definitely recommend running for whatever ones you want. But even more so than that, the value in being at events. My first national conference really changed everything for me. I went from being afraid to the phone to like owning the phones and feeling so much more confident. For Kevin, it was all about belief. But we don't miss national conference. We don't miss Ignite. We're so excited for Ignite. And then kind of another step into association that we practice daily, every single day, is the Mac room. We tune in to the workroom every single day because the value that you get in associating and forming relationships with other people, it just collapses time frames. It collapses time frames and allows us to kind of work smarter and not harder. So association gets 3 slides because, guys, we'd argue it's one of our favorite parts and one of the most important things in the business. Yep.
Yep. And then, of course, like golf's got to get its own slide because why not? Being able to associate with some of these guys and meet a lot of these people where we want our business to look has just been such a blessing. They always say if you want to be successful in business, relationships are built on the golf course. So that's what you got to do. So I'll say in closing, this time last year, we were holding on for dear life. We were not acting in alignment, and we had not grown into the people yet who could lead others. I'll say we're still growing every day, and we cannot wait to see where we are from a year from now. So just a kind of quick recap on those four that we went over was sacrifice, mentorship, grow yourself, and association. And that's all we got, Jim.
That's all we got. That's y'all know by now. That's my favorite. It's my favorite way to end this. Cree and Kevin, you two are the definition of looking at the gain instead of the gap. Everyone in this group by now should be familiar with the concept of the gap and the gain. You should have read that book or at least know the concept. And the gap being the gap between where you are and where you want to be that can seem overwhelming and insurmountable and so far away versus looking backwards at the gain and how far you've come in the last 6 months, in the last year. I think I heard both of you say on different slides when you pulled up historic pictures and looked back, man, that feels like a lifetime ago. Man, we have come so far since then. And you mapped out how you had come far. You mapped out the mentorship, you mapped out the association, you mapped out the grit. But what you've been able to do so brilliantly is appreciate that gain, is take the time to look at that and appreciate the fact that the two of you are not just doing this together, the two of you are growing together. The two of you are becoming stronger, better versions of yourselves together. I'll tell you, in relationships, that becomes a really can be a really contentious thing when you're growing at different rates or paces, or one person's growing and the other isn't. The fact that you guys chose to embrace growth individually and together is no surprise that the overflow of that is a business ownership. The overflow of that is a growing business. We ran our my master team huddle last night, and I'm pulling up all the AO spots. You guys are the newest AOs in the entire thing, the brand newest base shop. And yet you're in the middle, in the lineup for the month of the base shops. Like, you're brand new and you've got momentum and you're doing it. And it is a reflection of the growth that you guys have experienced, but you've experienced it because you've been committed to it. And I need everybody to understand that growth doesn't happen. Growth is something you commit to. Cree and Kevin, we love you guys. We are grateful for your abundance, for your vulnerability, your transparency, and we are grateful for your leadership in this company, in this room, in this team. You two are just getting started. The stage is just warming up for you. The impact that you're going to make is just on its precipice. I cannot wait to see where the gain takes you over the next 6 months and a year. I love you both a lot. Thank you. All right, we're going to open up some breakout rooms. Breakout rooms are open. I'm going to stop the recording. I get questions on where the recordings are hosted, guys. They are at Larson Life Group on YouTube under the playlist High Challenge, High Accountability. You can find all of the replays of these there. Go find your AO in the breakout rooms. We've got 2 days left in meetings for August, meeting today and tomorrow, and then we start September. If you are ready to turn it up, make sure you get on your list for September.